Minority Leader Blake Filippi, who is back to talk about a host of issues, including the IGT deal that looks like a lock in the Senate. All right, let's get right to him. He's a man on the move. In fact, he's joining us just as he's about to get on the Block Island Ferry. He serves that constituency. Good morning, Rep. Filippi. Nice to have you on.
I'm happy to be here, Gene. Thank you.
Let's get right to it. The IGT deal. It passed on your side. You're not for it, but it's going to get a warm reception on the Senate side. It looks like it's a done deal, and the Democrats say it's the right deal. You say what?
Well, maybe a done deal in the legislature, but we're only authorizing the governor to enter into this deal. The governor has the ability to negotiate something better. This was negotiated by the prior administration. It overpays IGT and Twin River approximately $800 million over the life of this contract, and we can do better for the taxpayers.
So do you expect Governor McKee to step in and see things your way against his own party leaders?
Oh, this isn't about party. It's about the state. I expect Governor McKee, and I think we all do, to do what is best for the taxpayers. Gene, if we were to just match the table game take that Massachusetts gets, we'd have $20 million more a year. Massachusetts gets 25% of the table games. We get approximately 12.7% of the table games. $20 million a year, $400 million over the next 20 years life of these extended contracts. Right. So I expect Governor McKee to do what's best for the taxpayers with our business. That's what it is. It's our business.
You're saying it's bad math. Not only that, you're saying put it out to bid. Maybe we can get a better deal. I asked Senate President Dominick Ruggerio about this last week. He says absolutely not. If we lose these two companies because we put it out to bid, we're going to be worse off. Let's listen to the Senate President.
And I think it's a very good proposal. It's going to preserve 1,000 jobs in the state, increase another 100 jobs. They're going to add some other jobs down the line. They're going to stay in Rhode Island as their one of their headquarters.
We're going to employ 1,100 people there in jobs, and the wages that they're going to be paying are well above what the wages in other jobs are going to be.
There you go. That's the Senate leadership. They say it's a good deal. Raimondo basically cut it. We keep both companies here. They hire more people. Everybody's happy. Take the last word on this, then we have other things to talk about.
They're both wrong. We're overpaying IGT $400 million. We're overpaying Twin River $400 million. IGT is guaranteeing us 1,100 jobs for that $400 million overpayment. Twin River is only guaranteeing us 30 jobs for that overpayment. The legislation that came out 18 months ago was better because it only dealt with IGT. They've now added Twin River, and we're getting hosed. We're not getting a fair deal. This is the people's business, and there are so many problems with this legislation that I would need an hour on your show. But when it comes down to it, we are losing out by $800 million because we're doing a bad deal. I'm not saying put it out to bid, negotiate better, match Massachusetts. It's unfair to taxpayers.
All right, we're going to have you back, and we'll work 15 minutes at a time. We'll give you the full hour, don't worry. Now, let's move to something else you disagree with the leadership on, both the House and the Senate, a $15 minimum wage over time. Some of the Democrats, I heard the Doc Corvese rail against this. He said now is not the time to whack a small business with a higher minimum wage. Tell me your position on that.
My position on it is that both sides are right. Both sides are right. You can't live on $11.50 an hour, and businesses can't be saddled with this additional regulation. I mean, really, this comes down to our congressional delegation that they finally need to wrap their hands around what's going on with our Federal Reserve System. They need to back but the federal audit the Federal Reserve bill that's been just sitting in Congress for years to find out what's going on with the Federal Reserve System and why we have such crazy inflation. They're printing money. They're using fractional reserve banking. They're using the federal open market window to give money to connected insiders. And when they get that money, they get the benefit of the new money. And by the time it trickles down to everybody else, our money is worth less. It hurts savers. It makes people have to gamble in the stock market instead of being able to get any reasonable interest rate on their savings or in the bond markets. So this is a matter of federal monetary policy where our congressional delegation and frankly all of Congress is letting us down, debating about things that really don't matter and letting our monetary system be debased by unaccountable and unelected bureaucrats.
All right, I didn't know we were going to get into such a complicated economic theory here.
Well, I mean, you're talking about inflation.
I understand,
that's
but
complex.
Rep, narrowly on increasing the minimum wage to $15 by 2025. Good or bad for Rhode Island?
I think it's going to be bad for Rhode Island. What we have to do is have an economy that's robust, where workers actually can drive up their wages by having competition. Right now, we're paying people to stay home, which actually may help some workers because businesses aren't finding employment, so there's more demand for employment. But generally, we do not have a robust economy where workers can demand higher wages.
Okay, let's talk
I mean,
about...
that's what's going on here.
All right, let's talk about the budget. Rhode Island is getting a ton of cash in, maybe $1 billion. And I understand some people have wonderful ideas on where to spend that. Do you need a nonprofit to make suggestions, or do you know exactly what to do that? And what about saving maybe half of it for a rainy day? That's what the Senate leadership proposed. Tell me.
We don't need a nonprofit to tell us what to do. What my opinion is that we do boost up our rainy day account. We make our rainy day account bigger, and these monies should be spent on capital projects, not creating new programs that we're going to have to backfill once the federal money goes out, and not spending it to fill budget holes. We should be doing capital improvements, which will have generational benefits.
All right, there's some footnotes I want to just get to. With regard to state agencies, we don't have a DCYF director. I know that's the governor's purview, but as a legislator, are you concerned about that? It's been a while.
Republicans in the past 3 budgets have sought to fully fund DCYF. DCYF is one of the most important agencies in state government. If we can't take care of our children who need it the most, whose parents are out of the picture, then we shouldn't be doing much else. Our Democratic colleagues need to join us to fully fund the necessary positions at DCYF, which everyone agrees is underfunded and understaffed right now. I mean, I think it's sad we've lost another director at DCYF, but when you underfund an agency, you set it up to fail. And I don't know how we can bring anyone in to an agency where we've set them up to fail. We need to do better. And we need to fully fund DCYF before we start funding any other of these things that we're doing, which are nice to have. DCYF is a have to have.
You also have problems at the state's hospital system. We've been reading about that for weeks. Go ahead and take a shot at that.
Well, I mean, we made a mistake 2 years ago when we chased out Partners Healthcare from Boston from coming down here and buying some of our hospitals. We had one of the most well-funded, best hospitals that people all over the world travel to for care that wanted to move into the Rhode Island hospital system, and our government chased them out because they want to preserve local monopolies. It was ill-advised. We should be, a Boston hospital group wanted to come down here and get involved in the market. That would only have been good for consumers.
We have many, many issues to get to, but I'm going to let you go because I think your ferry's about to leave. I'm going to have you on again, and I promise we'll get to an hour.
It's my honor, Gene. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on. Appreciate it.